Hi everyone, my name is Kirsten and I am a student at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, otherwise known as CCNM, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my experience in my first year of naturopathic medical school. As a first year student, especially at CCNM, you are starting with all of your basic courses. So this is going to cover all of your basic sciences, physiology, biochemistry, nutrition, all of the very basic foundational courses. I know this sounds really boring, but this is the kind of stuff you do need to know going into naturopathic medical school and to learn more information, especially for some people who never took a scientific background in their undergrad. This can be kind of difficult for them and very new. So depending on where you're coming from and what your background is, it'll be a different experience. I personally came from a kinesiology background, so I had a little bit of science background and basics from that, so it was a little bit easier in that sense. But first year is a little bit tough because you're taking 12 courses in one semester, and that is a lot more courses than you're used to, especially in undergrad, so it is a big adjustment. I found that this was really difficult for me in my first year, just adjusting to the course load. The first couple of weeks, you definitely ease into it, and then you kind of realize all of a sudden you're just doing all of these courses and all of this stuff is coming at you so fast. And I think that's something that you learn really quickly is how to prioritize your time and how to adapt to this, as well as learning that you don't need to be good at everything or the best at everything or anything. You just need to do good enough to pass and have a passion towards it. And I think that the passion in the program is really what drives you forward, especially me personally. I know that every time I felt like I couldn't do it anymore, I used my passion to drive me forward, and this really helped. But it was a difficult year for me. I experienced a lot of mental health issues this year, and it was really tough adapting to this. I experienced anxiety, and I've experienced anxiety for quite a while, but I never really had a diagnosis with it until this year. So I suffer with generalized anxiety disorder, and it never really came out the way it did this year, and I think that was a really tough adaptation for me. I started to just feel very lonely and lost in the program. I think that it really hit me being away from my family and my friends and in a whole new city. It's a big, big thing to adapt to, and it can be scary. And so I kind of held this in for pretty much the first whole semester, and that really hit me hard. And I realized it really late in the semester that I needed to ask for help. So I decided to reach out to my family and my friends and the school to get the help that I needed, and that was such a lifesaver for me. I really felt like I couldn't do it, and I felt like I wouldn't be able to continue on, and I had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of things in my head telling me that I shouldn't be here just because I feel this way, but that's not true. I think that mental health in medical school is really, it's not talked about enough, and I think it's super important to know that you're not alone, and I decided to start opening up about it in my first year, online especially, and the amount of feedback I got from people in my class and people just from the internet in general saying thank you for being open about it because they were feeling the same way. This in itself was so rewarding, and I realized that everyone is struggling and not enough people talk about it, and it's scary to talk about it because as a medical student you feel a lot of pressure to be perfect and to be the smartest and to do the best, and this is a really, really hard thing to overcome and to realize that you don't need to be any of these. I know I'm not the smartest in my class. I know I'm not the most well-rounded person in my class. And it was really hard to accept that. And there's a lot of imposter syndrome that comes along with being in a program like this. But I really learned that that's okay. It's a part of the process, and I'm not alone. So many people in my class, in my courses, were struggling with the same exact things. And the more I talked about it, the less scary it was, and the less I felt alone, and the more I realized that there was people there for me whenever I needed it, and this was really helpful. And shout out to all my lovely friends in med school who were there for me when I needed them, because you guys are my rock, and you guys got me through it, from all of the sleepovers and wine nights and downtown coffee dates. It was really helpful, and just finding your people can be really, really, really helpful in this situation. I also decided to receive counseling because CCNM offers free counseling to their students, which is amazing. The student counselor is awesome. She was very, very helpful for me, and I would recommend her to everyone because I think it's a really necessary thing in med school that you don't realize you're carrying all of this weight, and to just talk even if you don't need to, I think is super, super helpful. So I went to see the counselor once every 2 or 3 weeks, and that was so helpful. She gave me some really good coping mechanisms and helped me get through the year in a very healthy way, and that was super helpful. And I also decided to start receiving tutoring, and tutoring is also free. You get 2 free hours a week at CCNM of tutoring. You can either do it in 1 course or 2 courses, just depending on how much you want to weight it. I decided to do it in 1 course, and it was very, very helpful. Even with all of the COVID stuff, I was able to get tutoring and the help that I needed, and that was extremely useful for me, and it helped me get through. And just know, in first year, you're probably going to get some bad grades. You're probably going to fail some things, and that's okay. And I know that's very new for a lot of people, especially when you get into med school. You're probably not too used to failing things, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to deal with. I ended up failing my first semester OSCE, which is a practical for our physiology class, and that just means I had to take a specific 2-day course. It was like 2 or 3 hours worth of a course. It wasn't a lot, and it was not a big deal. Multiple people failed the course. It just means you have to take that 2-hour course to pass the entire physiology course. It doesn't mean that you have to retake physiology. You're going to fail things. It happens, and you have to learn to deal with that and accept that, because you can't be perfect at everything, and there's a big weight on your shoulders. But on the positive side of all of this, I felt very rewarded in this program and completing this first year. I feel very accomplished, and I feel amazing, and I feel a lot better and more confident in my abilities to continue on in the next year and couple of years. And it's just really exciting. I think that talking to your upper years is very helpful. And also going to the clinic, you can get a 4th-year intern who has been through all of this, and they understand, and they are very willing to listen to you and help you through it and counsel you through it in their appointments. And it's actually very helpful to help them with their future patients who they'll probably have to counsel one day. So don't be afraid to reach out to upper years, the counselor, your friends, family, the school, just anybody to help you get through first year, because it is tough and you're allowed to struggle. It is a big, big adjustment for everyone. And that's my biggest advice I can give for first year, is to just understand that there is going to be a lot of pressure, and you need to learn to take that off and learn when to take a step back and relax. That is the biggest lesson I have learned this year, and to just ask for help when I need it. There is no point in stressing yourself out and doing things when you're not going to be productive, when you could take the time off to refresh yourself and come back at it a lot stronger. So that is my experience with first year, and it was a tough year, I'm not going to lie, but it was very rewarding, and you were so capable of doing it. And I think by me being open, it's hopefully going to help others realize they're not alone, and that it is a normal thing to deal with while in medical school. And if you see that your mental health is taking a negative decline, please reach out for help. There's a lot of resources in Toronto area, in Ontario, and just at the school in general. And take the opportunities, because people are always willing to listen, and I'm always willing to talk if you need to talk about it. But I think that realizing that it's normal to deal with it makes it a lot less scary, because it is scary to deal with those things. But you are so capable of completing your years at CCNM, regardless of what you're dealing with. As long as you have a passion for being there and you know you want to complete the program, even if there are some days where you feel like you can't, you definitely can. I know you can do it. I did it. You can do it too. So that was my experience in first year. I learned a whole lot. I gained so much knowledge, and I'm so excited to see what second year has to offer me. If you ever have any questions about the program, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down below in the comments bar or on my Instagram. I'll link that down below as well. You can always reach out to me and ask me questions. I'm always willing to listen and talk to you and guide you through whatever you need to get help with, or send you to the resources you need. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys later. Bye!